It's alive. My creation, it lives. You. It's alive. So I said I'd do a Q&A for my 150 subscriber special. I'm going to be doing pretty much whatever you guys ask of me within reason, every 50 subscribers until I hit 500. And then I'll need bigger margins. But I think it's a fun thing to do, and interacting with the community is pretty much the entire reason why I'm doing this. So 2 thumbs up. So I got a few questions here, and then at the end, I'm going to put a bunch of questions on my stream that happened during stream, and a lot of his jokes. Thank you, Lean Septiceye, because he wanted me to make a video out of it, and I didn't quite know how, so I'm gonna put them together. Okay, so I got a few questions here, and then I'll do that. Let's get into it. So, what hero matchup in Rivals feels the most unfair, and how would I balance it? I don't think any hero matchup specifically feels too unfair, and it's mainly skill checks, right? And so if I had to answer this question, I'd have to say it's dive versus support is what feels the most unfair, because sometimes it's supports are super boosted, not boosted, support is super busted, and so dive can't do anything, or dive is super busted, and so supports can't do anything. And I think the problem comes with they don't tend to buff certain supports, they buff them all. Like, even in this most recent one, Gambit caught buffs. Like, 3 of the supports caught buffs, and their ult charge was just buffed. For what? For what reason did that happen? What they tend to do, and they don't do this with the off supports, because why would we have a good off support that is good at doing exactly what they do and requires team coordination? Why would we ever have that? But what they would do with all the other supports is they either go all of them across the board, better survivability, or all of them across the board, lower survivability. And what they need to do is have characters with strengths and weaknesses. So this one, really good healing, bad, really good healing, mid group heal, single target healing, mid group healing, and bad survivability. Really, really good survivability, mid solo healing, and bad, bad group healing, right? And so this guy dies to dive, but this guy doesn't. And then maybe there's this guy who succeeds at healing his entire team over time, but not over time, but his whole team instead of. But he has like mid survivability or whatever, and they kind of have this niche. But if you look at it, when players complain, I don't think they would be complaining if it was counterplay, right? If it was, oh, they play these characters, and so now I just don't play a dive character anymore. I play something like the Punisher, and they can't keep up heals. And I know people are going to go, well, this isn't counter watch. We don't want to counter all the time. It's a hero shooter. That's part of it. Like, people get upset when the enemy team goes thing against a dive character. That's part of the game. That's the point. That's what you do. So I don't really see that argument, but I understand. But that is how I would do it. I would genuinely, you just give them all strengths and weaknesses, even dive characters. If there's a dive character that does AoE, or a dive character that has really good survivability, you should probably tone down their damage so they survive a really long time, but they don't insta kill you. Like Cap, that's why Cap was so good, because he has clear strengths and weaknesses, and it was a meta that he fit into. That's how I'd fix it. Genuinely. But I don't think any like 1 versus 1 hero is unfair, because in the long scheme of things, it's either a skill check, or it's what I mentioned where they buffed all of this role or all of this certain type of hero, and they just need to give them strengths and weaknesses. Because like Elsa is probably going to win every single 1v1 this season. Shouldn't happen realistically unless they have all their cooldowns, but then that's a skill check on the other person to bait out those cooldowns and not get hit by them, because they do have the touch of death combo, but only if they have every single cooldown in their kit up, right? And so it's a little complicated, and I don't think there's any one hero matchup that is unfair. Like, as much as I can complain about tanks don't have so much agency, and I'm really relying on my team, like, I just have to hope and pray that they do something. I could play perfectly, but if my team can't take advantage of what I do, then there's nothing I can do. And yeah, I could do that. But that doesn't mean a hero matchup is unfair. right? Every time I try and talk about that, everyone goes, "Oh, but they're not broken. You can count on them." I'm like, "Yes, I know. I'm saying that there's nothing I can do personally within this role. My best option is to swap off, or just swap off and do it myself because they aren't, right?" So it's just team play and a team-based game, and that's how it's supposed to be. So I don't think that's anything. What's the most advanced mechanics I think most players don't understand? I don't know why you're asking me this. I'm like, right now, after the season reset, I'm Diamond 2. I'll hit GM by the end of this month, and I'll probably stay in GM 3 the rest of the month for the rest of the season for like all of 9.5. That's pretty much how it goes when I play this game. Um, but in my opinion, it would probably be ability tracking and not ult tracking. Everyone gets ult tracking. Ability tracking. So like Mag used his bubble. He has 10 seconds before the next bubble comes up. Because anytime I try and get a DPS who's trying to IGL the game, or sometimes even my co-tank, and I should really get better IGLing, because as a tank, that is something that I should be doing. Hey, we need to focus this guy, we need to focus this, but I can't do it until, and personally, I haven't mastered this, I get the hang of ability tracking, because Mag uses his bubble. I've got 10 seconds to bully Mag before he has that back. Invis used her jump. She has 4? See, I don't even know. Just a few seconds before she can jump again. Her shield broke. I heard the shield broke, or I saw the shield break. We have this much time before it comes back. I'm pretty sure that one is 4 seconds. Like, once you can track those things, you get really good at just being able to take advantage of situations. And I'm not there yet. And I want to be there. It's the next thing I'm like really trying to hone in on, knowing what's coming up and what's not, just in characters' kits, but there's so much to track that I don't know. Right? Like, oh my goodness, it's so much to know. Which map has the highest skill ceiling, and what separates good players from great ones on it? Now, this is a weird one because I don't think maps in and of themselves have skill ceilings. Right? I don't think one map is more skillful than the other. Uh, if I had to say anything, probably the Kunlun map or Midtown, not the Vampire Midtown, but Lower Manhattan. That's the name of it. And I say those two because they are designed extremely well. There are off-angling routes, but you have to go near or by the enemy team to get to them. Right? The first point on both of those set up extremely well for defense. Point 2 set up extremely well for offense. And then point 3 is kind of a mix. It's not really set up in any way that's more defense or more offense. I think what allows you to be good versus great on any map, and it works for any map, but like on these ones specifically, knowing what characters work and what characters don't, right? So I play Penny. I like to flank on Penny or take off angles. You can't do that on Kunlun. Can't. And hell, if you're playing defensive like a bunker Penny, you pretty much can't do that on point 2 of Kunlun if you're on defense. What I'll do on defense instead is, alright, so we're looking at it from an aerial view on the attacker's side. They gotta go through here, you're defending, the bridge is right there. When they turn the corner, there's a little high ground right here. I'll get up there, and I'll take that. If the cart comes around to there, I'll get up there and I'll take that. And from up there, I can bully them. I can make sure they can't come, especially when they're going through the other side. So we're over here. When they're coming this way from their spawn and not around, you can just bully them and make sure they don't get to walk. You can cover that with webs while playing high ground. You're playing high ground and cover. But you have to get really creative on these maps if you want to play off-meta things. Or you just play stereotypical run-it-down offense on every point except that first one, because you kind of want to poke your way in. Like, you either super dive that first point on attack. And the first point on those maps, I think, really separates people, because if you can't find a way to get an advantage on a map that is defensive favored, it kind of says a lot, right? And even though I'm not that good, right, I can flank on Penny and get my team to space. I won't kill anybody. I just make the cloak turn around, or I make cloak and torch turn around one game. And I had torch follow me for like 5 seconds, and he just did everything, but then a magic dived in. We were playing Venom, and then we swapped off, and that's when I got on Penny, because like if we're not playing double shield here, and then the magic dived in, and because they were looking at me, and now there's a magic, my entire team just pushes through, and you can get value on those, even though it is defensive centered, and even though they saw me start to take that off angle, right? Because I had to go through to the left and behind the waterfall. They saw it coming, but I was still able to find a way to get an advantage on an offensive character or playing in an offensive style on a map or a point that favors the defense. I think on those two maps specifically, that's what separates people, because even on my teams, there's sometimes I can't figure out how to get an edge offensively on the Lower Manhattan map, first point. Those times I just can't figure it out against certain team comps. I just don't understand what to do. And yeah, it really separates you, because they were able to do it so easily to us. Even those times we'll match. We'll go, okay, we'll do exactly what they did. We can. They knew it. Why would we do that? We gotta do something new. The feature. What's one feature that the community keeps asking for that I think would actually hurt the game? Roll queue is the easiest option, but we've talked about that to death. Does not need to be talked about anymore. I think the most important one here, I'm going to call them Echo Fighters, and I want to release a full video on it later. It was one of the first videos I released, and I think it ages extremely well. And I think most people, I heard a lot of people still talking about it, how they want, like Miles Morales, Red Hulk, characters like that in the game, and I think that is bad for the game, TLDR, without any in-depth explanations, because I will save that for that video when I make it. You have to make like Miles Morales. You have to make Miles Morales feel like Spider-Man, because he is Spider-Man. We call him Miles Morales or Miles Morales Spider-Man because that's how we, as the audience, differentiate him. But in universe, he is Spider-Man. People refer to him as Spider-Man. That's why it's a problem when people say Kid Arachnid. It's stupid. He is Spider-Man to call him Spider-Man. Marvel Rivals, and they don't always hit the nail on the head, but they do a really good job of having a hero fantasy, and you get the hero fantasy when you play those characters. The best example of this, Spider-Man. It feels like Spider-Man when you play Spider-Man. Even when I'm doing terribly, I feel like I'm playing Spider-Man. How do we have Spider-Man and Spider-Man in the game? I think the obvious option is have some sort of Lady Loki thing. Maybe better than Lady Loki, so it has unique voice lines instead of just a new voice for the old voice lines, but unique voice lines, unique animations, and you just cover it over Spidey, because Spider-Man, his animation wraps webs around his fist when he does the uppercut. Just change that to electricity, right? And since we know it's an AoE, you can just put electricity in the AoE. You can make him a skin similar to Lady Loki, and this was my original idea as well, while also keeping it as Miles Morales, because then it feels like he is Spider-Man, right? Without having to make a new character, because the problem is you could put him in there without taking any of the Spider-Man we already have in there, without taking any of his abilities. Okay, but then he's not going to feel like Spider-Man. Well, we'll just take the web swinging and the web shooting, right? And maybe the pole, right? Or get rid of the pole. We have the thwip, his right click, and the web swings. But we also give him invisibility and an electricity move. So then, yeah, he feels like Spider-Man, but now we have Spider-Man and better Spider-Man. This game already has a problem with releasing heroes that feel pretty much the same, except one is better. So why would we encourage that? So I think that is like the biggest one that comes to mind, but it's a lot more nuanced than that. Is Marvel Rivals more fun because of its chaos, or does it need tighter competitive tuning? Definitely don't tighter competitive tune it. It's fun because of its chaos, yes, but it's not fun having 8 million things on your screen and not knowing what's happening at any time is not necessarily fun. There is a sense of, I like to know, at least personally for me, I like to know what things are. But the chaos of especially season 8.5. I thought season 8.5 was the best example of this, and season 0. Once we hit season 1, people started to figure out the game a little too much. We know what was broken, what was not. Season 8.5, pretty much everything was viable in ladder play, like in ranked. I was seeing all kinds of team comps. I was playing all sorts of things. And I was winning and I was losing. And that's the fun in it with me. That when most things in the game are viable and like it's not 5 heroes that shut everything down. Yes, I know we have to ban the same 6 heroes every single game, but this season is doing a lot of that where like you just get to play the game in so many different ways. I get to play the character I like, or I get to play a handful of characters I like depending on the situation. I've gotten to play so much Penny when she's not banned. And it's very fun. It's very fun to play Penny again because I feel like with the shield and the increased fire rate, I can win 1v1s without having to have 8 mines stacked up beforehand. I can have the double nest set up if I want to be a loser and bunker down. I can take off angles more reliably because I have the shield to block damage. I have the fire rate increase, like I said. And then that's pretty much the same for every hero. They have that for every hero, where it's like, I can do this and I can do it more reliably. My only problem is that some team ups are way obviously super, and some team ups are really, they're just so much better than the other ones, your other option, and it's not even close. It's very obvious. Like Thor. I think Thor's the best example. You either take the Hela team up or you take the Angela team up. And even though people are figuring out how to counterplay the Hela team up, the Angela one's kind of worthless. I mean, it gives you an extra dash, but Thor never needed that. He's good without it. Oh, before it restores Thor force when you hit with it. Yeah, or you could just hit them. He's never needed that. He's been viable for the past couple of half seasons, because half seasons specifically, because he's been fine. So you just play him in a state where he's fine, except now you get an extra life. I would like to see not nerfs to the super strong. Well, there are a few super strong ones that I am sure we'll find by the end of this half season, by the end of this month, that are super strong, and they should be nerfed. But right now, I'm not calling for that. I'm calling for the weaker ones to be buffed to probably the same level as the other ones, because some of them just don't do anything. Doctor Strange, really good example. Why would you ever take Gamma? Invis team up gives you 150 extra health on your shield. Shield when you use your E. Your E has no fall off damage, and 2 seconds less on your E cooldown. And that's unenhanced. Well, I think enhanced might be the extra 2 seconds off, but either way, let's compare the enhanced ones. That's what the strange one does. Oh, and you get a CC with it. The Gamma team up gives you, well, you don't anti-heal. You have no fall off damage. I mean, you still have fall off damage, so you don't anti-heal, and when you do damage, when you release it, I mean, I guess you keep some of your charge, but like the amount of stuff that the Invis one does is so much better than what the Gamma one does. Why would you ever take Gamma? Even if I'm playing with Hulk, I always take Gamma. I mean, I always take Invis because it's just that much better, even unenhanced. And so that's really what I would like to see. I am in college. No, my name is not Gilbert. Not gonna tell you though. Why did I start this? Well, I started this because I wanted to. I just wanted to voice opinions. I didn't think anyone would see these. Put them out in the void. And my girlfriend really liked listening to the sound of me yap about things that I like. Kill 2 birds with 1 stone, right? Because I travel a lot for my sports activities that I do in college. And so I figured I'd give them something to listen to. Kill 2 birds with 1 stone. And then people started watching. I figured I'd keep doing it because at the end of the day, what I want to do in life is to entertain people through any medium, whether it be this, any other sort of content creation, film, TV show, voiceover, musical theater, which I never want to be my end goal, even though that's kind of what I do all the time. I'd still do it because that's the thrill, that's the rush. I like it. It's why I always tell you to comment because I like interacting with you. It's why I like and heart all your comments and to show you that I have read it, that I read it. I think it's great. Unless I just think you're mean or being an asshole for one. There's one comment like you keep showing up on my studio thing that tells me you haven't responded to this comment. I know. You're just being mean for no reason. I didn't want to give him attention. But I like responding. That's the point. I like to know that I've entertained, that we can have a discussion about this. That's the whole point. It's really, really cool to me. Yeah. That's pretty much it. More videos coming later. This probably won't release till Saturday. If I can edit in time, I'm just not. I'm so busy. But yeah, I'm going to cut to the stream footage now, where he's asking me questions. He's got a lot of funny jokes. He's got a lot of funny jokes. I'm going to ask you to retype that one out for me, because I don't know what that's supposed to mean. I want to say it's compendium. The word compendium. Oh, no, not. I don't have a compendium. Yes. That's it. I just have individual comics. Like I've got this one, which is Strange Tales. It's Cloak and Dagger and Doctor Strange. It's a story of each, and it's the Punisher has a talk with Doctor Strange. Has a talk with the can't speak, with Cloak and Dagger. I do not own any compendiums, just paperbacks. I own a few that are just the actual issue comics. I own a few paperbacks where it's like 6 issues in a paperback or 12 issues in a paperback, like a paperback book. But I don't own any compendiums now. They'd be pretty cool. If I owned a compendium, I would definitely get Doctor Strange or Fantastic Four. Ooh, I punched them all one time. He's just really cool, and I think he does something that's different than the other ones. So he's fun, he's colorful, magic is always cool. I think his stories are well written, and not in the MCU that much, but he's never truly not arrogant. They do a very good job of writing, in certain comics, writing a likable asshole, where he is still arrogant. He doesn't get over his arrogance just because he became the Sorcerer Supreme. That on top of, I just like his stories for a lot of them. Like Iron Man? Yeah, sort of like Iron Man. Except, Doctor Strange gets called out for it more often than Iron Man does, at least comics Iron Man. In the movies, Iron Man's way better. IMO. And magic in Marvel Comics is always, like, ruthless. It's ruthless, and Doctor Strange, in contrast, is mercy. He is always mercy. He is a doctor before anything else. He treats himself that way, even though he's technically not under oath anymore. That's how he treats himself, and I think that's a really cool dynamic. But all the forces he goes up against are murdering, ruthless, stuff like that, and he actively chooses not to be. Do you have any DC comics? I have a few, mostly from like Free Comics Day and stuff though. They're just not my favorite characters. Oh my. Okay. I got. I have an Aquaman Shark Day one that I think is pretty cool. I have 2. I have Deadpool and Batman. Batman and Deadpool. One of them's DC, one of them's Marvel. Just, they each get one for each of their publishing companies. And then I have the Spider-Man and Superman, too. Spider-Man, Superman, Superman, Spider-Man. Also, Gilbert, what's your favorite song? My favorite songs are not that my favorite songs are Night Dancer or B Dot. Not like I thought. Yes. I get it. My favorite song currently, No Moon at All. Family Guy. Seth MacFarlane. Bro, that guy has the most incredible singing voice ever. He was built to rival Frank Sinatra, and yet he makes Family Guy. It's insane how good he sings. He has one of his albums. One of his albums is it's releasing old, unreleased Frank Sinatra songs, and it is so good. Stats looked so bad at the beginning of the game. I locked it in. I can't believe we're doing that.
4,
GG's, guys.
3,
That was
2,
incredible.
2.
Whew.